You know how we always start? First of all, questions. We got questions. I'll see if I can answer them real quick. Yes, ma'am.
Where do you post the podcast and where all can you post it?
Okay, I'll go over that in just a minute.
Okay.
Definitely going to answer that one today. Her question was, where do you post podcast and how do you do it? And I was like, I'm going to answer that. You got your hand up, Shereen, or you just okay? All right. Anybody else got any questions? This is your time. This is your shot. We don't get the one-on-one. Yeah. Yeah. Go.
So I did that video last week, you sent me this morning.
Yes.
Can I post that audio as a podcast?
Yes, absolutely.
How do I do that?
Chris is asking the video he shot last week in the studio in there if he can post the audio of that as a podcast. And the answer is yes. I'm going to go over that in just a minute. Also,
Welcome to the video. Oh, with no video?
Right.
he recorded it with a video, but you only need the audio for the podcast. It's just a. All right. Okay. Well, let's get started. I kind of posted on Workplace a minute ago about a big number, that 60% of your potential customers and clients are doing this. And the answer to that question is listening to podcasts. 60%. So if I told you there was a 60% chance it was going to rain today, probably bring an umbrella, right? So that's good numbers. That's what's happening here. The numbers have continued to grow and continue to grow, and they are slowing down, but I think they're slowing down the rate of adoption, et cetera, because you're reaching a saturation point where everybody who has the means and the desire to start consuming podcasts, you're going to reach that. We're quickly reaching that in society where that number is that number, and it's not going to go a lot higher. So it's gone from 20-something percent, 30% a year. Well, back during COVID, it got up to 55%, and then it's been 30-something, 20-something. Now it's like 11%. But it's you guys know how that works in the market too. It works the same way with selling and buying homes and how much is available, et cetera. Yeah. Increase year over year. Yeah. 11% from August of last year to this current point. Don't know what it'll be when it's done. It'll be a little bit higher, but again, you're at 60%, now up to 60% of people, 59.8% currently consume podcasts. So I pulled up some stats a few minutes ago, and let's see where you guys are on this. What do you think the most popular type of podcast is? Like, what do you? Not fun. Crime, sports, and sex. It's close. No, actually, that's pretty far down. Number one is on the ground reporting. Because of all of the wars and the stuff, you can't consume that stuff on the news all the time. You can't just sit and watch the news. So people get it through podcasts. They get it through CNN and places like that, but they get on ground reporting from Ukraine or Israel and whatever now. So currently that's number one right now. Number two, very interesting. In studio conversations is number two. By the way, we have a studio, 2 chairs behind the thing, up to 3, and 3 microphones. Number 3 is irrelevant. It's sports. Doesn't apply here. But number 4, video versions of in-studio conversations. And both of the 2 of the top 4 guys, you are equipped 100% to do on your own or with some help from us in the studio. Yeah. No, it's video versions of in-studio conversations. So if Joe Rogan having a conversation with somebody, all of the I can't believe I'm gonna say Joe Rogan and Chris Kimmy in the same sentence, but and Chris Kimmy sitting down with Nicole Staubli. So it's that stuff. All right. They just want you, they just want to see people have conversations about a topic. This is not what is. Not always. So, a huge percentage of them are just one person. Yeah. It's just, they love interaction. They love to see people learning while they learn, asking the questions they want to ask. They're like, I want to ask this person this question, but I'm not there. This person is, and they love getting the answers. And often the conversations, if you do it right, are entertaining as well. I know we have some agents here that they shoot for 25 minutes and it's an hour every time they go in there with somebody. And I walk by the door and it's just uproarious laughter. And they get off topics. I went in, they was talking about interest rates one day, and I went and helped someone do something else. And I went back in there and opened the door to sneak back in. And they were talking about meeting boyfriends at church. And I was like, okay. And I mean, but it was hilarious. It was a great conversation. Then they wrapped it back up, got back into what they were doing, but it was entertaining. And this person does really well with it. And they have a podcast and post all their video stuff. So, all right, that's the types. Now, I want to hear some name. Where do you think which platforms do you think people are consuming podcasts on the most? Number one is Spotify. Number two is Apple. YouTube is not quite there yet. They're in the single digit percentage right now on their podcasts. It's Audible's in there. No. Podcast is Apple. Just a podcast app is Apple. It doesn't matter. To you, it doesn't matter, because if you do this right and you have a Buzzsprout account and you upload it to Buzzsprout and you connect those things, it's going to go to all of them. You don't care where they consume it. Buzzsprout. You don't care where they consume it. Doesn't matter. You're putting it in Buzzsprout and it's going everywhere. Buzzsprout is free up to 2 hours of audio per month. So if you do a half-hour one or a 29-minute one every single week, you won't run over your 2 hours. It's a platform, online app, an online platform, both. I find the web version easier to use just because you have a few more options, but you can do it also on your phone. Yeah, it's an amazing. It's one of the best ones. It's one of the newest ones, but often that ends up becoming one of the best ones because people like that develop those things and they sit back and they watch all these other companies and they see the mistakes they make and go, not doing that. And then they go, you know what they're not doing? This thing. And they put it in there and they come out with it and everybody's like, oh my God. So it really is one of the most useful platforms for this. And it's free as long as you don't go over 2 hours of audio. There will be a monthly charge if you decide you want to do 3 or 4. Keep it to 29 minutes or less and you won't go over that number. All right. And the last thing that I wrote down is how now all this stuff is measured by times. YouTube's measured by time spent watching. Audio is time spent listening, TSL. So how much what do you think the average number is on a day that someone consumes audio from a podcast? Whether that's 69 or 59.8% of people. Less. Not bad. Nope. 28 minutes. 28 minutes a day. Joanna was really close. Joanna said 25. 28 minutes a day that they spend consuming it. Where do you think they spend consuming it? Yes, in their car, sitting in traffic. If you live in Atlanta, it's probably more like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Yeah. Well, there's 40 40.2% people don't listen. Yeah. Shereen doesn't know where the knob is to turn the channel.
So,
You are not old. Listen, hey guys, it is really easy. All right, let's refocus. It is so simple to do if you are willing to put in the effort to do it. It's like everything else. You just got to be willing to know what the topic's going to be. Sit down and record it. Follow the super simple process of uploading it and getting it into the platform. And then you don't have to do anything else. Think of this as an audio version of YouTube, except people can do this while they're driving. You can't really watch YouTube while you're driving. Imagine, I guess some people do. It's not wise. You can do this while you're driving, while you're sitting in traffic, while you're on the way to a showing or on the way to an open house or something. You can just, listen to it in your car, consume it in your car. The thing is, on your end, now that's the consumer's end. On your end, you do have to know what you're going to talk about. You do have to actually record it. And this is not where, look, the cameras on these things are amazing, right? Especially the 15s and the new ones, amazing. The microphones on those things suck on an epic level. You can hold it right here and have a conversation and it sounds great. The microphone is made so that I could put this on this table right here and we could do a conference call and it's going to pick up every word that Stephen and Joanna and Iris say in the back of the room, every word that every one of you say moving forward, and me. And it's going to be echoey because it's in a giant room with no fabric on the walls or curtains or anything, right? You cannot use the microphone on these things for audio. Now, for your videos, it's great as long as you're wearing a little microphone or something. So we have a podcast studio that is free to you to use. All you have to do is if it's in the morning, get Zach to go in there with you and he'll help you record. If it's in the afternoon, grab me. I'll pop in there and start it and let you go. And when you're done, come tell me. And we move the audio over to our server in the building, which then means that me and editors and everybody else can then have access to it. And we'll sync it up with your video if there's a video one included back. We actually have 2 agents here that record podcasts that don't want any video for it. They don't like to be on camera. They don't want it. And I've tried as much as I can to talk them into it. They will not do it because they want to look at their notes the whole time. They don't want to be looking at a camera. They want to go in there and sit down. They want to have it's one of people who talk about a topic or a subject and instead of having a conversation. And I'm working on them to get them to put camera in there and to have someone else join them to have a conversation. In studio conversations, that's why it's number 2 on the form most consumed. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to hear it. So work on that. If you have a fear of cameras and you don't want to be filmed the whole time or you're self-conscious about it, that's all up here, guys. It's all up here. We got to get it out of there. Okay. Because you are missing reaching 59.8% of the folks out there. And that is a huge chunk of people to just like leave on the table when you're talking about getting new customers and growing your business. All right. This is simple. Mike's provided the studio for you. He gave us the money. I built it and we want you guys using it. Get in there and make the content. It sounds so good. It sounds so rich. And the audio is, it's a studio. The audio is studio quality. So that's the kind of products you guys want to be pushing out. Now, conversations. Somebody asked, before this, when they saw that I was going to be talking about this today, like, who do I talk to? What do I talk about? There are, so far that I've counted, at one point 2 years ago, 300 and something topics to do with real estate and or the community slash the connection between the two that you could run through. And it would take you, even if you did one a month, you're talking about the next several years of content. And all you got to do is sit down and do it. Jeanette, what are you and Isaiah talking about?
We talk about real estate market, we talk about investing financially. We talk about our personal experiences with
Mhm.
investing.
Yeah.
And running businesses, all that.
Yeah. And what is your time lengthwise? What do you usually run? Yeah. So in less than a half an hour, they sit down, they go in there and they have these great conversations. And we take the video and we get the audio from the computer in there and we get it synced up, get it edited, drop their lower thirds on it, get it back to them. She posts it. And you guys have done what, like 10, 12, something like that?
Yeah.
It's like once a week. Yeah.
YouTube is really cool.
But you should, but you should not sit there and look at analytics. The number one thing that every expert in the social media industry, in the audio industry, the video industry, the number one thing that every single one of them say to not do is watch paint dry, because that's what it's like. You're like, I only got 4 views today. This is just a waste of time. I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you can look at, yeah, you can look at it for a comparison reason to know if you're trending in the right direction. You cannot sit there and go back day after day after day and go, I don't understand. Only one person listened to it yesterday. Like, that is the way all video, audio, and social media works. All of it. Some days you'll have one or none. One day, 6 months from now, you'll have 72,000. You're like, what the heck happened? On the same video, same piece of content. It's whenever the market is consuming that type of topic, your stuff will show up and you will get the views. Just like my kids' meltdown video. Nothing, 110,000. And it's like, you don't know. It's whenever it becomes a topic. The good news is this is constantly there. It's never going anywhere. So it will be found. I have videos on my YouTube channel that are 12 years old that I get an email every Friday. I've set it up to get one from YouTube Studio, YouTube Creator Studio every Friday. And I will see the video title and I'll see it's up 708%, this week. And I look at it and go, what? Like, why is anyone looking at this? It doesn't matter. It's not necessary. Well, did you say video like YouTube? Yeah, it's not a hashtag on YouTube. It's just a tag. But it's a topic. Yeah, it's a topic. If someone searches, if I have the tags in there, buy house, Roswell, Georgia, and somebody looks up, I want to buy a house, how to buy a house in Roswell, Georgia. I have a really good shot of getting pushed up in that list and getting shown and getting views. We talked last week, the week before, about YouTube and how they were changing all their algorithm and everything. One of the things that I did not get to that time because we were out of time was somebody clicks on your video right now, watches it for a second or two, it doesn't count as a view. You need it's based on a percentage of the length of the video. So they have to get like so far into it based on that video to do it. So if they're just tapping on it and they get 3 words in and they're like, and they move on, you don't get credit for that view. So a lot more people see it than you're told that see it. Yes. I think it's still that isn't it size Gangnam style? Yeah. 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 It was one point it was 25 billion. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of those came from Shireen. Yeah. What's that? Now it's Baby Shark. What's it up to? He said Baby Shark surpassed it. That's people just being cruel to each other. That's what that is. Yeah, No Sai had 25 at one point. What's that? Yeah. So listen, this is something that I know, you know, I can tell even some of you are going to be apprehensive about sitting down with a camera and recording the conversation. Here's what I want you to do. Here's your homework because we are going to talk about this again at some point, and I want you guys to I want you to come equipped next time with some titles. Start looking up podcasts. Do you have an iPhone, Shireen? Okay, there's an app built into it called Podcasts. Yes, it's pink. Open that and start searching. Everybody, I want you to find your top 5 favorite podcasts for the next time that we talk about this, and just jot them down. No, all of you need 5 each, because we're going to learn from this too. Now, also make sure among your top 5 are some real estate related podcast of some sort. Everybody has definitely varying tastes in here, and it could be off the charts. So, like, if you've got one like that, we still want to know about it, but find something that has to do with real estate included in that top 5, please. Your favorite real estate podcast. And we're going to break some of them down. We may even pull some of them up and play some clips from them so that everyone can get a good idea of like what it's supposed to sound like, how it's supposed to feel when it starts. Now, if you're going to start recording and messing around in the meantime, remember there's an acronym that I came up with a while back called HIM, and it's HIM. It stands for the hook, intro, and meat. Always start out with something I've been meaning to talk to you and Isaiah about. Start out with something that's just ridiculous. That's going to make people go, "Whoa, what?" and stick around. Then do your intro, and then get into the meat of what you're talking about. So what I will do sometimes when I edit them is I will scrub through the whole thing, especially the video ones. I'll scrub through it, and until I'll see them like fall out of their chairs laughing or something, and I'll go, "Whoa, back up," and I'll go to the 20 seconds, 30 seconds before that. I'm like, "What just happened?" And I'll copy that part. Don't cut it out. Copy it, and I'll paste it at the very beginning. And that's what's going to stop people scrolling and make them want to listen to that. And then it starts with their intro and then straight into the meat. Keep your intros short too. Somebody sent me a video, newer agent sent me a video that they have made through Fiverr.com. Fiverr, like with the freelancers, and they wanted like cool animated intro thing, whatever. It was like 26 seconds long. And I went, "It's longer than the intro to Friends." And everyone even said that's too long. Like, get to the show. And I said, "You're not going to put that in there. You will get 0 views and pick up 0 followers and subscribers with that kind of intro. your intro part needs to be like 3 to 4 seconds, which television shows are doing now. If you noticed, they'll have like a really cool part of the show. They'll find the dead body or whatever. Law and Order is the king of this. They'll have the thing happen. The show's gonna be about. They got the hook now, and then it goes to that little song for seconds, just seconds now, and then it's back right into the, they don't even skip a beat. You barely even know it was there. If you looked at somebody and said, "Will you hand me my drink?" and you turn around and the intro's over and they're back into the show. You cannot bore people to death with that. All right, no one cares. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to learn to know you, to like you, and to trust you in the content that they're consuming. If they do that, then it's a win. It's a win-win, and it's got to be. Nobody's giving you anything out there. It's got to be a win-win. They gotta get something out of it. You get something out of it. And I didn't write it down, but I took a screen. It's going to require the old man glasses. I took a screenshot of it before I came in here. Actions US podcast listeners have taken after hearing a podcast. All right. 61% have then visited a company's website or the podcast website. 61% say they then wanted the service or product that was brought up during the podcast. 56% gathered more information about the host or the company that the podcast came from. That's over half, guys. 44% have then used a promotional or discount code mentioned in the podcast. 43% have went straight to purchasing a product or service in there. And 42%, this is a big one, 42% have recommended a product to a friend or family member. You are the product. 42% have then gone and recommended whatever they were just listening to or whoever to a friend or family member. It's called a referral from a potential client or customer. How cool is that? That's a big, big number. I don't know that that number even exists on video, like on YouTube. So podcast listeners are loyal. They take in everything that you're saying. For some reason, they feel like they trust this medium more than anything else. So it's not a short little snippet like you doing a short or a TikTok or a reel or something. They're getting a lot of information from you. And the minute that they decide, I trust this person, they know what you're talking about, and I love the way they talk about it. At that point, almost half of them are going to tell a friend or family member about you. They're going to refer them to you. Okay. That's what this whole thing's about. Not about the people you know. It's about the people they know. So get this message into those hands, and that number goes way up, way through the roof. Okay. Just another tool you got in your toolbox. All right. So it takes me about a minute to shut this thing down and get up to the other one. So before we get to that 1 minute, anybody got any questions about what we talked about?
Breakdown of creating a podcast.
Yeah, we can do that. Pull it up and we can pull it up and put it on the screen. Yeah, we'll have one that we can do that with. His question was, could we actually show it creating one through Buzzsprout or somewhere? All right, anybody else? Okay. All right, Selena is up next. Let's go to work.